Hi crafters, I'm Verna from Stampin' Notes, and today I'm going to show you how to make a faux shutter peekaboo card. We've seen a lot of the faux shutter cards lately, and I'll show you what that is also. But we're going to change it up a little bit and make it a peekaboo card, and you'll see why. And I will have a project sheet on my blog that you can download and refer to if you want to. My name is Verna Mullen from Stampin' Notes, and welcome to my studio. I'm coming to you today from Western New York. It's a beautiful day here today. It's actually a hay day, and in the field right below my house, my son is raking hay. We're hoping to square bale that, and we're thankful it hasn't rained. So anyways, I'm here every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a free class. And if you subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow my Facebook page, then you'll know when I'm going to have a class and you won't miss it. So, hey Carol. So I'm happy to have you here. Couple reminders, don't forget to redeem your coupon codes if you shopped in July with me, and they are good through the end of this month. This is August 21st, 2023. And also all of Stampin' Up's kits are on sale right now. So they're really cool, and they're great because most of them are all inclusive, which means they include the block, the ink, the stamps, everything you may need to make beautiful cards. So anyways, I'm going to put my camera down, and thank you, Carol, for sharing. If you share and comment, participate, then you'll be put into a drawing for some goodies next week. And last week's winner was Sandy Armstrong. Sandy, if you'll message me with your contact or your mailing address, then I can get your prize out to you. So this is the shutter card, regular shutter card right here, and this is using a new bundle that's called Autumn Leaves, and let me show you that bundle. It's going to be available for purchase in the new mini catalog. Will be available for purchase September 6th. And if you wanted to join now and buy a starter kit, you could get it now in your starter kit. It has great dies with it. Lots of leaves, some texture. What's nice about the leaf dies, there's like 2 of each one. So I'm going to be using a lot of the products from this suite today also, but this is, you can see why it's called a faux shutter card, because it looks like a shutter, but it really isn't. And it's also using the gorgeous designer series paper that's in that suite, and I will also show you that, because I'm going to be using that today. Very beautiful fall colors. I've got some little strips here about just gorgeous photography, and it's a specialty designer series paper because it has metallic on one side of it. That's really pretty. I hadn't noticed that one before. Let's see what else is here. The pumpkins, aren't they beautiful? Leaves, fall leaves. There's a little leather. It'd be great for cards for men. More leaves. There's some mossy meadow. Here's a bookshelf, books on a bookshelf. There's the metal with like a vanilla. And here's a gorgeous outdoor scene. See what the back of this is, the creamy too. And that looks like a knit sweater. And this has the pretty peacock on the back. So lots of beautiful fall colors in this paper. So let's go ahead and get started on our card. And this is the card we're going to make today. I'm going to show you how to make. Now this is the first one I made. This is the reason we're calling it a faux shutter peekaboo card is because this has a little card on the front here that opens. And then it tucks back inside there, and here's the inside of the card. So, hi Ann. Yes, I love this paper. Alright, so we're going to get started with a piece of early espresso cardstock. This is 8.5 by 5.5, and this is our card base. We're going to fold it in half, or you can score it at 4 1/4 and burnish it with your bone folder, like that. I'm going to set that aside a minute. I've cut a piece of that beautiful designer series paper, and I'm going to set this aside. We'll come back to that in a minute. So I've cut this at 5 1/4 by 4. I'll show you all the pieces that we need. 8.5 by 5.5, our card base. And again, there will be a free project sheet on my blog for this. I have a piece of pecan pie, or pecan pie, I don't know, whichever you say. We say pecan in the north. This is 4 by 2, it's scored at 2. And also a piece of early espresso cardstock that is 5 1/4 by 4. A piece of very vanilla for the inside that's 5 by 3 3/4. And we're going to need 4 strips of our beautiful designer series paper that are 1/4 inch by 6 inches. So, and that is going to be for the outline of our window. So let's make our front little window first. And I've got my designer series paper. I'm going to bring in my little mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Opens up just like that. And oops, I forgot I can't cut this on the mini because it's too wide. All right, I'm going to grab the other one. Oh my word. I was thinking, well, that die will fit right through there. I'm coming right back. And if you hear little feet, it's my son's French bulldog, Beau. They went away and we're taking care of Beau. Or if you hear like snoring. He likes to snore, and I hear that quite a bit. He's funny. We love him to death. Love him dearly. Alright, here's the plates for the big one. I don't know what I was thinking. Sorry about that. And our bottom plate. Actually, I'm going to put this one in because it's pretty well marked up. And I'm going to put that piece of paper on here. I'm using the second largest square from the Stylish Shapes dies. The Stylish Shapes dies are dies with different shapes. These are those. There's circles, there's squares, there's banners. So that's a great basic die set to have. And I'm going to center this so it's like a diamond. It's about the same distance from this edge as that edge, going straight up and down. I'm looking for my Post-it tape. And here's a piece I can use. I'm just going to put this on it to hold it in place so it doesn't wiggle around when I put that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Oh, I forgot my other plate. Good grief, Charlie Brown. You know, sometimes I just think, oh, I'm all ready to go today. I haven't forgotten anything. I'm all set. And then reality hits. Okay, so we're putting this through there, and this is the second largest square in the Stylish Shapes dies. All right, we can set this aside. Now, if I was making the regular faux shutter card, I would die cut out a piece with the next smallest square, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. On this one right here, I would use the next smallest square to die cut that out, but because we're making a little peekaboo card, we're not going to do that today. Alright, so we've got that square cut out, and we're going to put that aside to use with something else. I'm bringing back in that piece of 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of early espresso cardstock, and this is going to layer that right over this like this. So when you're choosing what color you want for your cardstock to go behind your designer series paper with this card, you want to keep in mind color. What color do I want back there? And I'm bringing in my Tombow glue. I just have it in a different bottle. I'm going to go around these edges here. I've got too much right there because we want this sealed. And then I'm going to go all the way around the edges of my designer series paper, the outside edges. And we're bringing that cardstock back in. I'm going to lay this right on that. Even, there won't be any border around it. It should go on there evenly. Okay. And you could use whatever fall scene that you want for this card from that designer series paper. I'm just going to grab the catalog and see what the name of that is. But we'll come back to that. I'll have it in my project sheet anyways. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is let's make our little peekaboo card in the middle. And you want to fold this and burnish this down nice and good. And I'm going to turn it both ways and do it. Alright, and this is going to sit this way, so this all the stamping is going to be done with it this shape. So I'm lining up these 2 points here on my graph paper. It's my Stampin' Up! Grid paper, like that. And let's go on to the inside. Now for this, I wanted to use the pumpkins, and I'm using another new bundle that will be available September 6th. And this is the Pick of the Patch. Really cute little pumpkin set with some cute sentiments, and it comes with the Pick of the Patch Builder Punch. We're going to use both of these. The first thing I'm going to do is stamp the sentiment, and this says, "You're the pick of the patch." And really cute, huh? And I'm going to use pecan pie. Does anyone grow pumpkins? I'm growing pumpkins by mistake this year. I had bought what I thought was zucchini plants, and lo and behold, I'm growing they look like pie pumpkins. They're kind of round and short, not real big. They're really cute. So my little inside sentiment in that card, is gonna say, "You're the pick of the patch." And then from that same pumpkin patch stamp set, I'm gonna use this little crow here, and we're gonna stamp him up here, just like that. And that also is in pecan pie. And then there's a tiny, tiny little pumpkin right here. And I'm going to stamp him on the inside, and I'm using Cajun Craze for that. And Cajun Craze is about the only time of year I use it is in the fall usually. There's the Cajun Craze. I'm going to stamp it right at the bottom here. Our little pumpkin. And we need a stem on our pumpkin, so let's go with, there's lots of little, there's stems in here too, but I'm going to use the top of this curly Q here. And that is also in this stamp set. If you ever have grown pumpkins, there's lots of vines and curling little tendrils that the pumpkin shoots out to, because the vines wander and creep and will wrap around things. So I've just put ink on the very top of that. I gotta stand up so I do this right. And we're just gonna stamp that right like that on that little pumpkin there. So the inside of our little tiny peekaboo card is done. Let me put that up closer so you can see it better. It says you're the pick of the patch, okay? Now let's do the front. And this is going to be our front. And I'm going to open it like that. And I want to use a sponge dauber. I want to sponge on some Mossy Meadow onto that. Gotta grab my sponge dauber. Thought I had that over there too. Okay. And these are in the catalog. So I'm just going to lightly brush it on my Mossy Meadow ink. And I'm just going to rub a little bit off there because I don't want it too overpowering. It's pretty dark, but we'll go with it. All right, now let's set this aside a minute. Let's punch out some pumpkins. And I am using the back of that beautiful Designer Series paper. Let me find the back of it to show you. So here's one of the pieces. This is the book back, and it has that Cajun Craze with the gold. And I'm gonna make my pumpkins out of this. This is our stamp, and what I've done here is I have punched this piece of cardstock with this punch, so I know how to line my stamps up when I'm stamping to have them be punched the right way or easily be punched. And I just have a little glue dot on the back of this cardstock to hold it on there. So let's bring in that large pumpkin stamp, and let's set aside that. So here's a large pumpkin stamp, and now I'm going to stamp it right in there. Whoops. And this will give that the paper with the gold, it'll give it a nice kind of rustic color for our pumpkins. And then I'm bringing in the next smaller pumpkin, and I'm going to ink that up. Now this guy is sideways. So I've inked it up with the Cajun Craze. I'm going to go right like that. And I'm not going to ink up the stems because I don't want Cajun Craze stems. Okay, so I'm going to take this off here. And you see we've got our pumpkins there. And punch. Okay, so now I can bring that punch in. And when I put my paper in there, I can line them right up and punch both of those pumpkins out at the same time and not waste a lot of paper, because I made that little template. Okay, we'll go about like that. So there's our 2 pumpkins. And we can get rid of those little stems. All right, so now I'm gonna bring back my little card front, and I want to put, well, we need a stem on that, so let's get some of that shiny green, the green paper with the gold on the back. And what did I do with the paper? Here it is. Okay. So I'm grabbing, here's a piece right here, and I'm going to punch out one of these little stems right here for one of the pumpkins, and this stem right there for the other one. And there's a green pumpkin we can possibly use. Alright, we'll set these stems aside. And this is the pumpkin that's going to be on the front. And I want to put this stem on it. I think it's this other one that I want with this. So we need a little bit of glue on the bottom here. And we'll put that on there like that. I got too much glue on there. And we'll put it a little bit sideways. And I'll bring in some dimensionals. I'm just getting that glue off my fingers. And I'm going to take your pick tool and I'm going to layer a couple of these on here. Alright, so bring this back here like this, and we'll put our pumpkin on there like that. I'll turn it a little more. And let's add a bit of a little bow with the linen thread. Have any of you ladies ordered either of these sets, the autumn leaves or the pick of the patch? Okay, it's just starting to feel like fall here. The nights are getting a little cooler, and I have seen some leaves turn on some of the trees. All right, we want a tiny bow. I'm going to cut that off, just like that. And I need a glue dot. Did I not bring them over? Glue dots. Where are you? Okay. Oh, here they are right in front of me. On my card, I have this little card right beside me. I know it takes a while to get those ink colors. Okay. And let's put our little bow right there like that. And there's our little pumpkin. And I'm going to just take this. This is the edge of the card that's going to tuck under. I'm just kind of bending it a little bit with my finger. All right. And we need a piece of Cajun Craze to put behind this. It's going to be just a 1/16 of an inch wider. So it's going to be 2 1/16. I'll show you on the trimmer where that's going to be. Here's the trimmer. And I'll grab the Cajun Crazes right here on my cart. So the 2 1/16 is, here's 2 inches, and it's this tiny little mark right just past the 2. Alright, so we're gonna go right there and turn it and do the same. Line it up with that first mark. That looks pretty. That was just about right. Just took a little bit off. And now I'm going to layer this on here. So we have that nice little bit of edge around the outside of our little tiny card. So it'll just makes a nice little outline on the outside of the card. And there's our little pumpkin. Now our card, we're going to bring back in our card base that we have the front on. Okay. Here's our base. We don't have the front on it yet. Here's our front. I'm gonna go, before I put that on, we're gonna do our 1/4 inch strips around here. And this is gonna fit in here just like that. Okay, but I'm gonna wait until I get my strips around the edge of that. So I need 4 1/4 inch strips, and I'm going to use the Cajun Craze paper here. And I'm going to use the 1/4 inch mark that's on this side just because it's easier for me to hold the paper down. Okay, and 1 more, or 2 more actually, we need 4. Cut this strip down, and actually you will have like these pieces left when you, that one's not quite big enough, when you cut the 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece. So there's 2 of them. I'll grab my paper and we'll cut 2 more. So here's 1 and 2. Can you hear the dog? He's snoring in his sleep. He is a funny dog. Alright, so what we're going to do, your starting point is going to be at one of these tips here, and you can start anywhere on this. I'm going to start at the top, and you're just going to run your glue parallel to your edge, and then you're going to extend it out to the outside edge of the card. So I've done that extra there. I'm going to lay this on here, and I'm just going to cover over the stitching, and there's stitching right along each of these sides here, just like that. Alright, so I'm going to do this one. So now I'm going to run the glue from this point all the way down to the end of the square, and then on out straight to the edge of the card. And this is going to go butt it right up next to the other strip, and right, whoops, just covering the edge of the the stitching around the square. Same thing here. We're going to go from the end of that all the way out to the edge of our card front. Line our strips on there. Line it up. And hopefully not pick it up like that. Okay, and then go like this, whoops, all the way straight out like that. All right, so it looks like that. And then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to cut these off. You just cut along the card base or the card front. And there is our shutter look. Isn't that pretty? Alright, so now I have our little mini card. We're going to set it right in there like that. Now, if this was a shutter card and we didn't have the mini card, that would be pretty just with a pumpkin on that. Just like that. But we've got our little card inside. You're the pick of the patch. And so I'm going to put glue on the back of this. And you want to line your points up with these points here. Down and over just a tad. All right. So now we need something on there to keep our card shut. And so I had used the tag punch for this one right here, and that works fine. And for this one I put 3 maple leaves. Die cut 3 maple leaves from the autumn leaves dies, and I popped one of them up on dimensionals, and that's the one we tuck the card under there, like that. So for this one, I've die cut some oak leaves, and this I used the oxidized copper designer series paper, just right here, and it's part of that the autumn leaves suite. There's that, and then there's this that has the pretty peacock in it, and I used the plain. And I used the autumn leaves, the oak leaf die, which is this one right here. So let's try that one and see how that works. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring in one of those die cut leaves. And for the leaf or whatever you're using that's going to hold the card shut, you want to die cut also a piece of cardstock to go in it underneath it to make it heavy, a little heavier to hold that down. So I've used a leftover piece of the pecan pie, and then I'm just gonna adhere it to that. Like that. I'm going to wipe my fingers off because they're sticky. All right, now I'm going to put some mini dimensionals Well, let's see if we could use regular dimensionals. Let's take a look at the back of this. So if we put this here to tuck under, we want to leave this space behind here free from any dimensionals because we want to be able to tuck the cardstock under there. So let's try putting one at the top and one at the bottom. See if we can fit one way at the top. And I think we can fit a small one in the bottom too. Well, let's try a regular one. See if this will work. I think it will. Yeah. And you could even put, in fact I will put a mini dimensional on this side right here. So we want it on the back of that side. Here's the minis. Right there. They're sticking to me. Alright, so I'm going to lay it down right about there, over that. And let's see if that's going to work. Yep, that will work fine. Let's try, we could put either a couple more here or one on the side here opposite. It might be kind of pretty. So let's try that. And this one I'm not going to pop up. I'm just going to, oh, I don't think I like that. Let's try, let's see. That might be kind of pretty. I don't really like that either. Maybe I'll just leave it the one leaf. Let's see. What do you guys think? Maybe that would be pretty like that. And just put dimensionals underneath it. Let's try that. And I'm just going to use two. Maybe you want him going out this way a little bit. Yeah, that's cute. Okay, now this still hasn't, we still haven't put this on our card base. So I'm going to do that. Here's the card base. I think we got that on there pretty good. And let's add a few gems. Oh, I was going to use a copper clay and color dots, but actually I think I'll just leave it without gems. I have gems on this one, right here. Alright, so for the inside, we have a piece that's 5 by 3 3/4. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run a piece of leftover designer series paper across the bottom of that. I'll make it a 1/2 inch strip. 3/4 of it, or 3 3/4 of an inch 3 3/4 inches long. And put that right there. Now our other pumpkin that we inked up, I'm going to put right here, and we need the stem on it. I wonder if I lost the stem. I'm not seeing it. Okay, I'm going to punch another stem. And I want this one right here at the bottom here. Because it sits nicely, goes nicely with that one. And then I'm just going to glue it. So I want the inside to be kind of flat. I'm wiping my fingers. Alright, so let's put this on the inside of the card. Okay. And then you could cut a piece to put on the envelope, would be pretty. So we've got that one. We have this one, and to do this one you just use that tag punch and you score it in half, fold it in half, and you would put it underneath your top layer so that and not glue this end down, so you can tuck that underneath there like that. And then we have the third one that's used with the 3 maple leaves. So there they are. I hope you've enjoyed this. And hey, Chris. And more will be coming this week. I'll probably do some more cards with this little peekaboo card. I hope you enjoy it. So take care, ladies.